How many times have you heard, push yourself? And how many times have you nodded, agreed, maybe even repeated it to someone else? But when the storm hit, when the comfort disappeared, when the pressure began to mount, you stepped back instead of forward. I know you've heard the phrase, but the question is, have you lived it? Because there is a vast difference between understanding something intellectually and embracing it spiritually. To push yourself, truly push yourself, is not a slogan. It's a commitment, a promise made in silence, repeated in sweat, kept through chaos. It's a vow to act when others hesitate, to move forward when most would retreat, to rise again even after you've been knocked flat by life. That's what pushing yourself means. And that is the very foundation of success. You say you want success. You say you're hungry for it. But I ask you, have you earned your hunger? Because hunger without discipline is just frustration. And no one achieves anything great through frustration. They achieve it through pressure, through decision, through the deliberate effort of becoming the version of themselves that success requires. You do not become that version by wishing. You do not meet that version in comfort. You push into it. You fight your way toward it. You choose it again and again until the old you becomes unrecognizable. Let me tell you something the world won't say. Nobody's going to make this easy for you. In fact, the moment you decide to rise above average, the world will resist you. It will try to seduce you with shortcuts. It will try to distract you with noise. It will try to exhaust you with delays, detours, and disappointments. And most people fall for it. But not you. Because now you know the only way through is through. And the only way to move through is to push. Push harder. Push smarter. Push beyond the limits you once accepted. This is not about motivation. This is not about hype. This is about you realizing once and for all that no one is coming to carry you. You are the force. You are the engine. You are the driver. You are the one who either moves or waits. And success doesn't wait. It's not patient. It's not polite. It doesn't respond to intention, only execution. So if you want it, really want it, then the push must become your practice. Push past your own excuses. Push past your own habits. Push past the people who still see you as who you used to be. You cannot afford to live in the shadow of your old limitations. Because every second you do, you're delaying the life that's waiting on the other side of your discomfort. And make no mistake, it is waiting. Your next level doesn't need more credentials. It doesn't need more applause. It doesn't even need perfect timing. It needs a new you. A version of you that doesn't stop at tired. A version of you that doesn't pause at fear. A version of you that shows up locked in, focused, driven, and unshakable. But here's the reality. That version won't show up on its own. You have to dig. You have to go in deep. You have to face every insecurity, every reason, every doubt, and still say, I'm going anyway. Even when it doesn't make sense. Even when you don't feel ready. Even when no one claps, no one calls, and no one cares. Because the truth is, the world begins to believe in you after you've already believed in yourself. So push. Push when it's quiet. Push when you're alone. Push when it's uncomfortable, inconvenient, and unrewarded. That's how you earn the next stage. That's how you earn the respect not from others, but from yourself. And that kind of respect, that kind of confidence, it's unbreakable. It cannot be taken by a failed attempt or a harsh word or a season of delay, because you know how you got it. Through persistence, through repetition, through showing up when others stopped. Let me ask you, what have you stopped pushing for? What did you once desire deeply that you allowed life to talk you out of? And more importantly, what would happen if you decided today, right now, to recommit, to draw the line in the sand and say, this time I will not quit, no matter the weight, no matter the pressure, no matter the odds? What would your life look like 1 year from now if you pushed yourself every day just 10% further than yesterday? What would your body look like? What would your bank account look like? What would your relationships, your confidence, your energy feel like? You see, most people overestimate what they can do in 1 day and massively underestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year of focused, relentless, uncompromising pursuit. 1 year of pushing yourself could rebuild the entire architecture of your life. But it starts here. It starts with a decision, not a vague, soft hope, but a firm, final, uncompromising decision. I will not waste this life, not this day, not this hour, not this minute, because greatness doesn't wait. It rewards the one who pushes, the one who dares to show up again, even after the failure, even after the loss, even after the voice in their head says, you've tried enough. Because the truth is, you haven't. If you're still breathing, there's still more in you. If your heart still aches for something greater, then there is more pushing to do. And that's not a curse, it's a gift. The gift of vision, the gift of purpose, the gift of a fire that hasn't gone out. So honor it, feed it, fuel it, and let that fire burn through every obstacle you face. That's what the greats did. That's what the legends lived. That's what you must do now. You want to achieve success, then remember what it demands. Not luck, not approval, not applause. Just this, a daily decision to push. Push with intention. Push with heart. Push with faith. Because the more you push, the more the world makes room for your movement. And the more you move, the closer you come to that version of yourself who doesn't just wish for success. They embody it. You say you want to change. Then you must ask, what are you willing to endure? Not what are you willing to dream. Not what are you willing to post, declare, talk about when the sun is shining and everything feels aligned. What are you willing to endure? That's the only question that matters on the path to achievement. Because every obstacle on your path is asking one thing of you. Can you keep going? Can you keep going when the applause stops? Can you keep going when progress is invisible? Can you keep going when success is nowhere in sight and the voices of self-doubt are screaming louder than your original motivation? Those who succeed don't just dream differently, they endure differently. They expect resistance. They anticipate setbacks. They prepare for pain, and they welcome all of it. Not because they enjoy suffering, but because they understand something most never will. Obstacles are necessary. Without them, there is no refinement. Without them, there is no greatness. Without them, there is no internal evolution. The obstacle you're facing is not your enemy. It is your entrance into a stronger version of you. But only if you push through it. If you retreat, the opportunity dissolves. If you surrender, the lesson is lost. If you hesitate too long, the door closes. And that is what most people don't realize. The window for growth is limited. Push now, or you will repeat this lesson later. Push now, or you will carry regret heavier than the resistance you face today. This is not punishment. It's process. The process of preparation. Life will not give you what you want until you're ready to hold it. And you don't become ready by wishing. You become ready by working. You become ready by waking up when it's inconvenient, by showing up when it's uncomfortable, by doing the thing, especially when you don't feel like it. That's when the transformation begins. You've heard people say, you'll be tested. But let me go deeper. You're not just being tested by circumstances, you're being tested by yourself. Because the old you, the version of you that quit before, delayed before, doubted before, still lives inside you. And every time you face an obstacle, that version tries to regain control. That voice whispers, let's wait. Let's take a break. Let's be realistic. And if you listen, you reinforce the identity of defeat. But if you push, you start a new story. A story of grit. A story of growth. A story of someone who refuses to be defined by yesterday's excuses. This is how success is written, not in bold declarations, but in quiet decisions. The decision to keep going. When it rains, keep going. When you're tired, keep going. When it's unclear, keep going. When it feels like no one believes in you, keep going anyway. Because every step you take while pushing through pain multiplies your power. You are not the same person on the other side of that push. You're stronger. You're wiser. You're more dangerous to anything that tries to limit you. And that's what this is really about, becoming someone so unstoppable that not even your own excuses can hold you back. But that version of you is built one decision at a time. And most of those decisions will be made alone. There will be no spotlight, no cheering section, no external reward. Just you versus the voice that says quit. And how you respond to that voice will shape your destiny. Don't wait for things to feel perfect. Don't wait for things to look easy. Don't wait for the fear to disappear. The fear won't go away. You just learn to move with it. You use the fear. You transform it. You turn it into fuel. Fear says, what if I fail? You say, what if I fly? Fear says, what if they reject me? You say, what if I rise higher than they ever imagined? That is the language of someone who has chosen to push. And here's the secret. The more you push, the quieter fear becomes. The more you push, the more momentum replaces hesitation. The more you push, the more belief becomes a reflex, not a wish. And belief is everything. Because success never arrives to those who don't believe they're worthy of it. Your mind is your gatekeeper. Your mindset is the filter through which all possibility flows. If your belief system is small, no amount of action will overcome it. But if your belief is rooted in truth, that you were born with power, that struggle is your servant. That discomfort is temporary, then you can outlast anything. You must reprogram your internal dialogue. Stop saying, I don't have time. I'm not ready. I'm too tired. I'm not like them. Start saying, I control my time. I'll figure it out. I was built for this. I push. That's what I do. Because when your inner conversation changes, your outer results begin to shift. This is the law of cause and effect. What you consistently affirm, mentally, emotionally, physically, becomes your reality. So choose your language carefully. Don't describe yourself by your limitations. Don't identify with your obstacles. Speak from your potential. Speak from your vision. Speak from the future you're building, not the past you're breaking away from. And when doubt creeps in, because it will, don't feed it. Face it. Feel it. Then push past it. Because every time you do, you're laying down bricks. Bricks of character. Bricks of resilience. Bricks of certainty. And soon you look back and realize you've built something no one can take from you. A mindset that cannot be broken. A reputation that inspires others. A life that reflects what's possible when someone decides to push. That life is waiting for you. Not out there. Inside you. But only if you're willing to meet the obstacle and say, let's go. If you've come this far, if you've made it through the resistance, the fatigue, the endless thoughts of giving up, then you already have everything it takes. You've proven that you are not built to break. You are built to rise. But let me be clear. The path ahead doesn't get easier, you get stronger. Because when you push yourself long enough, often enough, hard enough, something changes within you. You stop identifying with your past. You stop fearing the fall. You stop being surprised by struggle, and instead you start welcoming it. Because now you understand what it really means. The challenge is not here to harm you, it's here to hand you power. Every obstacle you overcome adds one more brick to the foundation of who you are becoming. This is the real payoff. Not the trophy, not the title, not the followers or fame. The real prize is the version of yourself who emerges on the other side of the fire, the person who didn't quit, didn't fold, didn't back down. That's the version of you who walks into rooms differently. They don't need to prove anything. They don't need applause, because they know exactly who they are. That level of self-certainty is priceless, and it's available only to those who push themselves. So let me challenge you. How would your life change if you trained yourself to never negotiate with your weakness again? How would your confidence expand if you stopped pausing every time things got hard? Do you realize how much time, how much energy, how much potential is being wasted every day, not because of failure, but because of hesitation? Indecision is the silent killer of dreams. It sneaks in quietly. You don't even notice it at first. It sounds like, I'll do it later. It feels like, let me think about it. It pretends to be wise, but really it's just fear wearing a clever disguise. And every time you let it win, every time you delay action, your power gets smaller. You become someone who waits instead of walks. Someone who plans but never proceeds. Someone who dreams but never delivers. And you weren't born for that. You were born to build. You were born to move, to shake, to influence, to break through. But nothing happens until you decide to push. So let me give you something practical. A standard, a code. Repeat it as often as you need. I do not retreat. I do not pause. I do not second-guess my progress. I push no matter the obstacle, because every push earns power, and power builds the life I desire. Say it again. Write it down. Live it until it becomes your reflex. Push until pushing becomes who you are. Because the truth is, the greatest enemy isn't out there, it's within. It's the old identity that tries to keep you where it's safe. But safety doesn't lead to success. Comfort doesn't lead to confidence. Ease doesn't lead to elevation. You grow by going through the doubt, through the dry seasons, through the failures, the fears, the fragile moments when nothing makes sense. And still, you push. You must understand this. Every day you wake up, you are either creating momentum or you're giving it away. You're either feeding your faith or feeding your fear. You're either moving forward or waiting for someone to come and save you. But no one is coming. It's not their job. It's yours. It always has been. You don't need rescuing. You need remembering. Remember who you were before life taught you to settle. Remember the fire you had before comfort became a drug. Remember that first version of you who believed it was possible. That belief is not gone. It's just buried under the weight of hesitation. And the only way to dig it up again is to act. Not next week, not when it's easier. Now, because action is the cure. You cannot think your way out of a rut. You cannot wish your way into strength. You must act. Even if it's messy. Even if you're uncertain. Even if your hands are shaking and your mind is screaming, this might not work. Push anyway, because it's not supposed to feel perfect. It's supposed to feel stretching. Growth is not graceful. It's gritty. And if you're willing to get a little gritty, you'll access what most never touch, the compound effect of consistency. This is the most misunderstood force in achievement. Everyone wants big wins. But the greatest transformations come from small, consistent pushes. One more rep, one more hour, one more call, one more honest effort when quitting feels easier. That's the compound effect, the invisible force that builds strength in silence. And then one day, it explodes into results. People will say, "Where did you come from?" They won't see the lonely nights, the early mornings, the silent battles you fought in your own mind. But you'll know that none of it was luck. It was earned. Every inch of it. You'll know that you pushed and life responded, because that's the law. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you prove you're ready for. And the proof is in the push. So whatever you're facing right now, that wall, that challenge, that delay, that disappointment, it's not here to destroy you. It's here to test you, to ask, how bad do you really want this? Answer with your action. Answer with your energy. Answer with your discipline. Because the moment you do, the obstacle becomes irrelevant. It becomes background noise. Because when you push with focus, with fire, with faith, nothing stands in your way. Not even you. There is a turning point in every journey where the struggle becomes sacred, where you no longer resist the pressure, you embrace it. You realize that pressure creates power. That resistance reveals readiness. That every obstacle, every delay, every hard day is not a punishment, it's a preparation. Preparation for the life you said you wanted. Preparation for the weight of success. Preparation for the leader you're becoming. And so now, we arrive here, a place most never reach, because most turn back too soon. They get close. They get tired. They start telling themselves stories. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I was wrong. But hear me clearly. You were not wrong. You were not wrong to dream big. You were not wrong to want more. You were not wrong to believe you were capable of the extraordinary. You were only wrong if you believed it would be easy. Success was never designed to be easy. It was designed to be earned. You earn it through resilience. You earn it through discipline. You earn it by pushing day after day through every voice that tells you to quit. And if you're still here, listening, reflecting, recommitting, then you've already proven you are not like most. You're not someone who fades at the first sign of struggle. You're not someone who folds under pressure. You are someone who fights. You are someone who walks through fire, not because it's pleasant, but because you know what's on the other side is worth it. So here is your final charge. Stop underestimating the power of your own effort. You keep thinking that if it hasn't happened yet, maybe it's not meant to. But that's not the truth. The truth is, your breakthrough is counting on your next push. Not the perfect move, not the perfect timing, not the perfect plan. Just the next push. And the one after that. And the one after that. Success is not a destination. It's a decision made over and over again, long after the excitement fades. It's made in quiet hours when no one's watching. It's made in lonely moments when you feel like giving up but don't. It's made in dark seasons where it feels like no one understands you and still you rise. You rise not because it's easy, but because something inside you refuses to settle. Something inside you knows that you were not born to blend in. You were not born to just exist. You were not born to wake up, survive, and go back to bed. You were born to create. You were born to build. You were born to rise. And rising requires effort. So stop waiting for permission. Stop looking for signs. Stop hoping someone else will do the hard parts for you. Push. Push with focus. Push with clarity. Push with an unshakable belief that the vision inside you is more real than the circumstances around you. Yes, you will fail. Yes, you will fall. Yes, you will question everything. But push anyway, because every fall teaches strength. Every failure teaches wisdom. And every time you rise again, you tell the world, I am still here. And that matters more than you know. You are proof that setbacks are not final. You are evidence that discipline defeats doubt. You are the story someone else is watching, hoping you'll keep going so they'll believe they can too. Your push is bigger than you. So do it loudly. Do it boldly. Do it now. And when you reach the top, when the dream becomes real, you'll look back and understand it wasn't one big moment that made the difference. It was the 1,000 small pushes when no one saw you, when no one believed, when only you knew the fire burning inside. That's how success is born. That's how legacies are written, one push at a time. So if you're wondering where to start, start here. Start now. Start with what you have. Start by pushing just a little more than you did yesterday. And never forget, your greatest power lies not in your talent, your resources, or your background. Your greatest power lies in your decision to keep going, to push, to persevere, to rise no matter what stands in your way. That's the key. That's the lesson. That's the truth. Push yourself, and success will follow. Now that you've stepped beyond where most people quit, let's go further. Let's go deeper than slogans, deeper than motivation, deeper than the temporary high of a good message. Because if you've pushed this far, you're not looking for inspiration. You're looking for transformation. That requires more than hearing. It demands doing. It requires more than effort. It demands ownership. You see, one of the most common mistakes people make is this. They believe success is a result, a finish line, a title, a moment where the world claps and validates you. But that's not true. Success is not a result. Success is a responsibility. You don't get there by chasing outcomes. You get there by becoming the person who naturally produces those outcomes. And becoming that person, that's not a one-time choice. That's a lifestyle. It means you choose the hard path not once but every morning. It means you wake up and lead yourself before you lead anything or anyone else. It means you operate from principle, not preference. Because preference will make you sleep in. Preference will let you off the hook. Preference will whisper you've done enough. But principle will wake you up when no one is watching. It will hold you accountable when no one else does. It will demand that you grow even when it's uncomfortable. And principle, my friend, is how people separate themselves in a world addicted to mediocrity. We are living in a time where comfort is king. But the moment you choose comfort as your compass, you trade long-term power for short-term pleasure. That is a decision you cannot afford to make, not if you're serious about your potential. So let's talk about standard. What is your standard? When no one is looking, what do you allow? When life gets hard, what do you tolerate? When your back is against the wall, who do you become? Because it's not your goals that determine your life, it's your standards. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems, habits, and standards. If your standard is discipline, then struggle becomes fuel. If your standard is persistence, then setbacks become stepping stones. If your standard is excellence, then you no longer tolerate average. And once you raise your standards, you will quickly see your results must rise to meet them. But here's the warning. The higher your standard, the louder the resistance. Because the moment you commit to rising, the world will test your sincerity. You will feel like things get harder. And they will. But not because you're failing, because you're growing. Growth always requires tension. Just as muscles tear before they grow, just as seeds crack before they bloom, just as steel is forged in fire. So don't be surprised when it feels heavy. That's how you know you're in the process. You've got to reframe the hard seasons. They're not blocks in your way, they are portals. They are not stopping you, they're shaping you. Every time you push through what's hard, you're unlocking new levels of leadership, awareness, energy, and endurance. You're not just building a business. You're not just chasing success. You're constructing a new identity. And identity is everything. Because when you shift who you are, you shift what becomes normal for you. Effort becomes normal. Early mornings become normal. Boundaries become normal. Clarity becomes normal. Massive results become inevitable. This is the version of yourself that doesn't chase opportunities. You create them. Because winners don't wait. Winners build. They build belief before there is proof. They build discipline before there is reward. They build reputation before there is recognition. And they do it through pushing over and over and over. There are no shortcuts. There are no secrets. There is only the decision to walk forward, even when it hurts. So, how do you continue? When it feels like progress is slow, when others seem to be ahead, when no one claps and nothing clicks, you do what the few do. You reset your focus. You don't need to fix everything today. You don't need to leap from the bottom to the top. You only need to push forward a little more than you did yesterday. That's how mountains are climbed, one step at a time, eyes on the summit, feet in the grind. Success is less about speed and more about consistency. So, ask yourself, am I doing what is easy or what is necessary? Am I working for applause or from conviction? Am I operating as the old me or the upgraded version I claim to become? Because nothing changes until you do. And the biggest lie you could tell yourself is that you need more time. You don't need more time, you need a tighter focus. You don't need another motivation or course or book. You need to execute what you already know with intensity. Execution is the highest form of confidence. You prove belief not by what you say, but by what you do. Your habits speak louder than your declarations. Your daily choices scream louder than your goals. So if you want change, look at what you're doing when nobody's watching. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. And if you're cutting corners, it will show. If you're giving 80% when no one is looking, it will show. But if you're pushing 100%, not because of reward, but because of who you are becoming, then nothing can stop you. You won't need a breakthrough. You'll become the breakthrough because the world makes room for people who refuse to be denied. And that's who you are now. Someone who doesn't seek comfort but embraces challenge. Someone who doesn't look for guarantees but finds certainty in their ability to adapt. Someone who doesn't stop when it's hard but steps deeper into the fire knowing that greatness is forged, not found. And the beautiful part? You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to ask anyone to believe in you. You don't even have to wait until you feel ready. You just start. You take the next step. You recommit. You recalibrate. And you remember, you are not here to be average. You are not here to stay small. You are not here to repeat yesterday's patterns. You are here to build, to expand, to evolve, to lead. And that begins and ends with one thing. Your decision to push every single day, no matter what comes, no matter who leaves, no matter how heavy it gets, you push because that's who you are now. And once you embody that, once it becomes your second nature, success stops being a fantasy. It becomes your default.